Hello, everyone, and welcome to our latest online event here at the University of California, Merced. My name is Ricky Hill, and I am the e-recruiter here at UC Merced. A huge welcome to you this evening for this fantastic event we have on deck for you, Understanding Your Financial Aid Offer Letter and more. I can promise you that the and more of this event is jam-packed with tons of fantastic information for you. So make sure you stay tuned the entire hour so that you can go ahead and learn as much as possible about our financial aid here at UC Merced. Before we get started, I'd like to give you a couple of Zoom reminders. If you need to adjust your audio settings, you can do that in the lower left corner of your screen by clicking the audio settings button. If you need to adjust the size of your window, go ahead and click on View Options in the upper portion of your screen. That is really important for an event such as this, when we may be showing you a ton of information. You may want to grab your smartphone, take some screenshots as we go along. And so if there is something that's on your screen that maybe you'd like to zoom up and zoom in a little bit, go ahead and click on View Options for that tonight. Lastly, and most importantly, we are recording this event this evening, and so we will make sure to drop down in the chat box for you the website that you can find this on-demand instant replay for you in just about a day or two after this evening. Once again, my name is Ricky Hill. It is such an honor to be here with you tonight for Understanding Your Financial Aid Offer Letter and more. At this time, I'd like to toss things over to the Director of Financial Aid, Ron Rodney.
Thank you, Ricky. Welcome, everybody. Congratulations again on your admissions to UC Merced. I am excited to share lots of great information this evening to hopefully help you and your family better understand your financial aid offer letter, our processes, and how to navigate your next steps. As Ricky said, this webinar is being recorded and will be available for replay on our Admissions Become a Bobcat website within a few days. Hopefully this presentation will answer most of your questions about financial aid. However, if you still have questions, I'll provide a URL and a QR code at the end for you to submit any follow-up questions you may have to our Students First Center. So let's jump into it. Next slide, Ricky. So UC Merced has achieved several national rankings, including 2 rankings specifically related to financial aid. We are #1 in the nation among public universities for the percentage of students who receive need-based aid. And we are #3 in the nation among public institutions for the lowest average loan indebtedness of our graduating class. So that's awesome. So as you can see from this list, I'm going to cover a lot of information tonight, including your financial aid offer letter, the UC tuition stability plan, how financial aid is determined, types of aid, mandatory health insurance information, our Connect student web portal, appeals and special circumstances, verification and award revisions, direct cost worksheet, our financial wellness center, deferred payment plan, financial aid website content, and important dates and deadlines. Okay, this is just a quick overview of what happens once you submitted your financial aid application. First, the government processes your FAFSA or California Dream application data using a congressional formula to determine what's called your expected family contribution, or also known as EFC, which is just an index number of schools use to determine your financial aid eligibility, is really all it is. Your data is then sent electronically to each school that you listed on your application, as well as to the California Student Aid Commission. For California resident students, the Student Aid Commission uses this data along with your high school GPA to determine your eligibility for state aid programs like Cal Grant. The school, meaning us, then determines your aid eligibility based on a financial aid award offer and makes a financial aid award offer. We post any documents needed to complete your financial aid file in our Student Connect portal. And lastly, you must submit all documents posted on your Connect portal checklist by June 1st and accept or decline any self-help aid such as loans or work study, which I'll talk about more in a few minutes. Half of your aid will be dispersed into your university account for the fall semester, and the other half for the spring semester, about 10 days before the beginning of each of those terms. Aid will then be applied to any outstanding balance, and any credit balance will be refunded to you. Okay, we began processing financial aid award offers on March 20th. For those of you who have already been awarded, you should have received an email notification. We're also mailing out hard copy letters to all of our new students. Here's what the cover page looks like. And I've circled the link to our Connect platform, your student Connect portal platform, which I'll talk more about in a few minutes. If you've not received a financial aid award offer yet, please contact our Students First Center. Their contact information will be provided at the end of this presentation. So here is what the second page of the offer, financial aid offer letter looks like. It's divided into sections. So the top section shows any gift aid you've been awarded, including grants and scholarships. And gift aid is free aid that you don't have to repay. The next section is called self-help aid, and the offer includes any student loans, parent loans, and or work study. I'll talk more about loans and work study later in the presentation. The third section is your estimated cost of attendance, which is based on whether you are living on campus, off campus, or at home. It is important to note that these are not your actual expenses. They are only estimates used to award financial aid. It includes our tuition and fees, mandatory health insurance, which can be waived if you have comparable health insurance, an estimate of your meals and housing. It also includes indirect costs that are not charged by the university, such as an estimate of your books and supplies, an estimate of your transportation costs while in school, and an estimate of your personal miscellaneous expenses while in school. We don't know which meal plan or room type, meaning if you choose a single, a double, a triple, or quad room that you might select. Therefore, the meal and housing component is estimated on a weighted average cost of all of our rooms and meal plans. So if you elect a triple or a quad room and a lesser meal plan, you can actually save money because the weighted average really is closer to the cost of a double room. If you're considering changing your living arrangements from on campus to off campus, it will impact your financial aid award. So please meet with one of our financial aid advisors first to see how your aid eligibility might change before making that decision. Next slide, please. So the last section of the financial aid offer letter is your estimated direct net costs. The direct costs are those components of the cost of attendance that are paid directly to the university, such as tuition and fees, housing and meals if you're living on campus, and the mandatory UC health insurance if you're not eligible for a waiver. If we subtract your total gift aid from these direct costs, it equals the estimated net cost you will need to cover through payments or self-help aid such as student loans or parent loans. If you accept the self-help aid and have a credit balance, it will be refunded to you to cover these non-direct expenses like books and supplies, transportation, and personal expenses. Please note that if you're awarded and participate in a work study program, you can earn up to the amount awarded for the year. However, these funds are not applied to your account balance, but instead you'll receive a paycheck for the hours you work every 2 weeks, which I'll talk about more in a few slides. There's also a deferred payment plan option, which I'll talk more about later in this presentation. Again, these are only estimates, not your actual charges. Your actual charges will be posted to your student account in late July after you've selected your housing, room type, and meal plan, and whether or not you have a waiver of the health insurance. Okay, you can view your financial aid offer online now by logging into the Connect platform. Click Students and then navigate to the UCM Net ID. Click Account Claim and answer the questions to establish your system access. The Connect platform provides access to campus resources, events, news, etc. It also includes a checklist of all the documents that we need from you to finalize your financial aid file. When you log in for the first time, you'll click Students and then, like I said, navigate to UCM Net ID, click Claim Account, and answer the questions to establish your access. Once you're logged into the Connect portal, you'll see, and I've circled it here, two items. One is My Checklist icon to view your checklist of any documents that we need from you. And you'll also see My Financial Aid icon to view your financial aid offer letter. If you've not been awarded yet, please contact our Students First Center for assistance. So checklist items are posted for any documents needed by not only our Student Health Center, our admissions office, our registrar's office, and financial aid to complete your files in each of those areas. For financial aid, if you have tasks to complete, any of the following three items may be added to your Connect checklist. The first one is Create Student Form Account checklist item, which will be listed with a hyperlink to our Students Forms system. It will require you to create or register your account. You will only have to do this once. On the right of the screen, you'll see a copy of the account registration screen and what it looks like. Ask a few questions about your name, date of birth, your social security number, preferred email address, and your phone number. And then once you establish your account, you'll be able to access the student forms task, which will be listed if we need any forms, such as a verification of dependency form, citizenship documents, etc. You may also have a checklist item for a verification process item that will be listed if we need any items such as parent and or student W-2 forms, tax returns, etc. Once you log into the student's form system, it will tell you exactly what is needed. If the form requires your parent's e-signature, you will have the ability as a student to request the parent's signature in the student forms, which generates an email to the parent with a link to create their own account and sign the forms, the necessary forms. Please note that you will need to enter the email address for the same parent who signed your FAFSA or California Dream application. Once these tasks are completed and reviewed, the checklist item will turn from a red X, which you see here on the screen, to a green check mark. The deadline for submitting all required documents is June 1st. UC Tuition Stability Plan. So the UC Tuition Stability Plan basically freezes your UC system-wide tuition and fees for up to 6 years or until you graduate, whichever occurs first. The intent of this program is to provide some cost stability to you and your family. So for every entering cohort of students, such as yourself, your tuition, your system-wide tuition and fees will be frozen for the next 6 years and will not change. You may be wondering how financial aid awards and types and amounts are determined. So this is just a quick overview. So we use your estimated cost of attendance, which was on your award letter. And then we subtract your expected family contribution, which again is an index number calculated by the government when your application is processed based on your household income and household size. And the difference between these two numbers is considered your financial need. We then award need-based aid to help cover the financial need, as well as non-need-based aid if you don't have any financial need. Each type of aid has its own award criteria. So types of aid. Let's cover a few types of aid. So there are several types of aid. There's federal, state, and institutional types of aid. So here are some common types. Students who completed a FAFSA may be eligible for federal aid, such as Pell Grant. Award amounts are based on a sliding scale from your EFC. Maximum is $7,395 for the year is the current maximum Pell Grant amount. Students with a zero EFC may also receive a federal SCOG grant, which is a very limited fund, and we award that until the funds are gone. Students who completed a FAFSA or DREAM application may also be eligible for state aid, such as Cal Grant A or B. The state provides us with a roster of eligible students who have listed our school code on their aid application. So just a note, if you're a transfer student and had a Cal Grant at your previous school, you'll need to notify the California Student Aid Commission that you are changing schools to our school. There's also a state middle class scholarship to assist students with household incomes below $217,000 for middle class families. This program has recently been reconstructed or restructured by the state, and awards vary by student based on their cost of attendance and type and amount of awards they receive. California resident students who submitted their aid application by the March 2nd priority deadline and who have remaining financial need may also be awarded some institutional aid, such as our Bobcat grant. We also award merit and need-based academic scholarships. And just so you know, all incoming freshmen and new transfer students are automatically considered for UC Merced scholarships based on your admissions application data. So please be aware also that we are still awarding some freshman and transfer scholarships. If you receive a scholarship, you will be your aid will be revised and you'll be notified by email. If you have any external scholarships from an outside organization that you've received and that you'll be bringing to UC Merced, please report them through the Connect platform or portal so that we can add them to your award package. And some of those scholarships may require proof of registration, which you can get through our registrar's office. So this slide is for our international students. You can apply for a UC Merced International Student Scholarship. The URL is at the top of this slide. You must have an F1 visa, be enrolled full-time during the year, and maintain good academic standing. Awards are competitive based on scholarly achievement as demonstrated by your academic transcripts and your responses to the essay questions on the application. The application deadline is May 1st. Hey, hopefully you've heard about the UC Blue and Gold Opportunity Plan. It's basically a promise that the UC system-wide tuition and fees will be covered for all California resident students with household incomes below $80,000, with gift aid from a combination of federal, state, and institutional sources. In other words, all of the gift aid on your award letter should add up to more than the system-wide tuition and fees. We also have the UC Native American Opportunity Plan, which is very similar actually to the UC Blue and Gold Plan in that it guarantees that eligible students will have enough gift aid to cover their UC system-wide tuition and fees. For this particular program, students must be a member of a federally recognized Native American, American Indian, and or Alaskan Native tribe, be a California resident, and complete a FAFSA or California DREAM application. California resident students from non-federally recognized tribes may apply for a scholarship to help cover your UC tuition and fees through the Federated Indians of Groton Rancheria. and the URL is on the slide. So earlier I talked about self-help aid, and there are really two primary sources of self-help aid: work study and student loans. So let's start with work study on the left. So if you are awarded work study, you can work up to the amount that we have awarded you. You can work up to 18 hours a week while in school. Hours can fluctuate depending on the job, but no more than 18 hours, because we recognize that if you work more than that, it may impact your academic performance. So we cap it at 18 hours max. You will receive a paycheck every 2 weeks. Funds are earned throughout the year, so they're not applied to your university account like other aid. Instead, you receive a paycheck and can cash it and use it to help pay for any expenses that you have that are education related. It helps build your resume, which is a great thing while you're in school, and work study earnings do not affect future financial aid eligibility. If you're awarded work study, you can view the job postings for work study jobs through the URL listed there in our handshake system. And those will be active beginning June 27th, so you can start looking for positions on campus. Now, if you weren't awarded federal work study, there are still opportunities for non-work study student assistant jobs. Those are also available and posted in the job links above. The only real difference between a work study job and a non-work study job is where the funding is coming from. The jobs are really no different. The funding for work study jobs, the government pays 75% basically of the student's wages. Whereas a non-work study position, the department on campus is actually paying all of the student's wages. That's really the only difference. And then on the right, student loans. There are several different types of student loans. So the first one is the California Dream Loan for our students who've completed a California Dream application. There are no loan fees. There is an interest rate. However, please be aware, the interest rate will change on July 1st for the next year. If you borrow a loan, your interest rate is locked at whatever you borrowed the loan at. So the interest rate will never change once you borrow the loan, but it does change every year. So if you borrow a loan this year, it's going to be one rate. And then if you happen to borrow another one next year, it may be a different rate, but those rates will be locked in for the life of the loan. On that particular loan, there's no interest or payments on the loan until 6 months after the student either leaves school or drops below half-time enrollment, meaning whether the student graduates or drops below half-time, whichever comes first. For students who completed a FAFSA, there are 3 different types of loans. First one is called a subsidized loan, and this is for students with financial need. There is no interest or payments until 6 months after the student either graduates or drops below half-time enrollment. And then there's an unsubsidized loan, which does not require financial need. It has the same interest rate and terms as a subsidized loan. Really, the big difference here is that the interest begins immediately on an unsubsidized loan. However, you can elect not to pay the interest while you're in school. It would be capitalized back into your loan. But the regular payments on that loan do not start until 6 months after you either graduate or drop below half-time enrollment. And then lastly, there's a Parent Plus loan. And this parent loan, the parent would be the borrower on behalf of the student. The student is not the borrower of this loan. So this would be the parent's loan. It's an education loan. And the parent would be responsible for it. The difference with this loan is it does have a higher interest rate and terms are a little higher, and it does require credit approval. And interest begins immediately and payments begin when the loan is fully dispersed. However, payments can be deferred while the student is enrolled at least half-time. Mandatory health insurance. So earlier I mentioned the mandatory UC health insurance. If you have comparable health insurance coverage, you may be eligible to apply and receive a waiver of this charge. The waiver application period opens May 1st with a deadline of August 1st. You can find more information online at the links that I've listed here. So I've given you the waiver link as well as an FAQs link, and hopefully that will help you. If you have any additional questions, you can contact our Students First Center or our Student Health Center. Okay, appeals and special circumstances. Okay, if for some reason you missed the March 2nd priority deadline to file your FAFSA or DREAM application, or the June 1st document deadline, you may submit a one-time appeal as an undergraduate. So if approved, we will revise your aid to what it would be, would have been if you had met the deadline. So basically, we're going to award you as if you met the deadline. Like I said, this is only a one-time appeal in the 4 years that you're here. This appeal opens June 1st. The FAFSA and DREAM application asks for prior year income, and we realize that your household income may have changed since then. If you've experienced a recent loss of income, parent separation or divorce since filing your application, your aid application, or a one-time payment received temporarily inflating your income, you may complete a special circumstance request. And this form is open now and available on our website. And then finally, if you have any additional out-of-pocket costs not covered by insurance, such as medical, dental, optical, or your commute is a long distance to and from school each day, or have disability-related expenses, you may submit what we call a cost of attendance adjustment form. Okay, when you completed the financial aid application, there was a series of 13 questions to determine your dependency status, meaning if you're required to include your parents' information on the application, such as, were you born before January 1st, 2000? Are you married? Are you serving an active military duty or a veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces? Do you have any children for whom you provide at least 50% of their support, etc. If you cannot answer yes to any of those questions, then you must include parent information on your application. However, there are 3 exceptions to this rule where a campus can override the need for parent data, and they include the 3 that you see here. First, abuse. If the student had to leave their home for their own safety due to an abusive situation, that can be documented through police reports, clergy, etc., then you can submit what's called a dependency override to our office. Also, abandonment. If the student was completely abandoned by their parents and has been raised by their grandparents or other relatives, and that can be documented, then that's another reason for dependency override. And lastly, a homeless youth. So unaccompanied youth who are homeless, which can be documented, may also qualify for a dependency override. So in those cases, what you would do is complete the financial aid application with the student data, not report any of the parent data, and then you would submit a dependency override information to us to make that determination. And then we go into the system, we approve it, and we submit the override, and then your eligibility will be calculated based solely on the student's income information and not the parents. Verification and award revisions. So when the government processes your aid application, they select a percentage of applicants for a process called verification, which essentially means The school must verify that the data you entered on the application is accurate. We do that by requesting documentation such as tax returns, W-2 statements, etc., to compare to what you put on your application. You may also be selected for verification at random and for obvious errors on your application. So either or. So at random or obvious errors will get you selected. If you were selected for verification, your financial aid awards will be locked, meaning you cannot accept or decline your self-help aid, including work study or student loans, until we complete our review once you've submitted all the verification documents that we need. If there's a discrepancy between the information on your aid application and your verification documents, then we will correct your aid application electronically for you and recalculate your aid eligibility. Hey, your initial financial aid offer may be revised under the following circumstances. So if you're, like I just indicated, if your application data is corrected through the verification process, this could either increase or decrease your aid eligibility depending on the correction, or it may not change it at all depending on what the discrepancy is. Also, you're not eligible to waive the UC health insurance plan. If you're not eligible, then this could slightly increase your aid eligibility to help you cover that, offset part of that expense. And then if you submit a special circumstance appeal, this could increase the amount of aid eligibility depending on the appeal, especially if it's a loss of income appeal, because then, like I said, we would process your special circumstance appeal based on your current income instead of your prior year income, which could completely change your aid eligibility. Next is if you submit a cost of attendance adjustment form, this could increase your loan eligibility depending on the amount of the additional expenses. If you're awarded an additional scholarship, either institutional scholarship or an outside scholarship, this could reduce your middle class scholarship if you're awarded one, or your work study and or student loan eligibility, just depending on the amount of the scholarship and what you've already been awarded and what your remaining financial need is. And then if you change your living arrangements from on campus to off campus, this could reduce or eliminate your Bobcat grant eligibility. So as I said, if you're thinking about changing from on campus to off campus, be sure to meet with one of our financial aid advisors to see how it's going to impact your award. And then lastly, if you receive a Department of Rehabilitation or VA benefits that pay for your tuition and fees, this could also reduce or eliminate your Bobcat grant or Cal grant, depending on the type and amount of the benefits. If your award is revised for any of these reasons, we'll notify you by email. Direct cost worksheet. So since your cost of attendance is based on estimates, we've developed what we call a direct cost worksheet web app for you to use to more accurately calculate your net cost, at least until your actual university charges are posted to your account in late July. So when you log into this app and the URLs at the top, it will pre-populate an estimate of your direct costs as well as the amount of gift aid that you've been awarded. The good thing about the direct cost worksheet is that you can manually manipulate the costs and it will automatically recalculate the balance due or refund amount at the bottom of the form to give you a better estimate of what you will need to cover through payment or student loans. So for example, if with housing and food charges, if you know the actual charges based on your room type that you want and the meal plan selection, you can enter it here. So whatever the amount is, you can just overwrite it with the amount of the room and meal plan that you've selected. And health insurance, if you believe that you're eligible for a waiver, you can remove that cost to see how it impacts the bottom number. And then Non-resident tuition, if you believe that you're eligible for an AB 540 waiver by filing a statement of legal residence to our registrar's office, you can remove the non-resident fees if you're a non-resident. May also enter any outside scholarships you're receiving. So it just helps to get a better estimate of what amount of either payments or self-help aid through student loans that you may need to borrow to cover the bottom line. Please be aware there are some limitations to this tool, though. It will not automatically adjust your aid based on changes that you make. So it only adjusts basically the costs, not the amount of aid. And the amount of aid would really just change if you were thinking about moving from on campus to off campus. If changing your room type or meal plan doesn't change your aid, only if you're moving from on to off. Financial Wellness Center. So I'm excited to share that we have a financial wellness center that provides one-on-one coaching sessions for our students on topics like personal budgeting, credit scores, salary negotiation, student loan repayment, emergency savings, financial crisis, and how to respond. Be sure to take advantage of this outstanding resource. Like I said, students can get one-on-one peer advising with our highly trained financial wellness coaches. Many of our students have never really managed their own budgets before. And so when you come to a university and now have to be responsible for your own budgets, that can be challenging, especially when you're thinking about moving from on campus to off campus, because now you have to manage your budget to pay your rent and food and all of that. So be sure to take advantage of this outstanding resource. It has really helped a lot of our students, and it's really lifelong lessons that will be useful for students well beyond their time here at UC Merced. So earlier I mentioned that the campus has the deferred payment plan, which we also refer to as DPP, to help students and their families in paying their account balance. So if you have an account balance and, for example, if you don't want to take out any student loans and you just want to make payments on your account balance, you can do that. You can enroll in DPP online beginning August 1st. Your balance for the term will be divided into 4 monthly payments. There's a $40 enrollment fee that has to be paid with the first payment. So when you enroll, you're not only paying the $40, but your first monthly installment at the same time. And DPP is only good for 1 semester at a time. So you have to re-enroll each semester if you want to use that payment plan. Okay, our financial aid website. I just wanted to give you a quick overview of our website and what you see with yellow blocks around it. It's basically all I've done there is I dropped down our menu just to show you in the menu above what the drop down links look like. And so it includes, like, on the left, how to apply for aid, types of aid, receiving aid, forms and requirements, resources, including a parent guide for financial aid, which you can click on. It's a great resource. Also appeals. I talked about special circumstance appeals, on-time status appeals, etc. How to contact us, including location, hours, and events. There's also icons shown below those drop-down menus. You see there at the bottom of your screen that you can click on for more information about verification, disbursement costs, general net price calculator, parent information, and contact information. So several of our web pages now have a Google Translate button that you can click on to convert the page content to Spanish. So I just wanted to circle it so those who would prefer to view the content in Spanish can do that. At the bottom of our webpage, you will see an FATV and FATV Spanish icons, which I've circled. These links are to video library on topics and tutorials on financial aid. So everything from how to apply for financial aid, how to apply for a student loan, how to repay a student loan. It's got all kinds of videos on it. So sometimes students would prefer to actually watch short videos instead of read content. And so we have that available. So important dates and deadlines. This one is an important slide. So here are a few important dates and deadlines you'll need to be aware of. The URL at the top provides a full list of activities. This is just an abbreviated list. So first off, you see the statement of intent to register for freshman students. The deadline is May 1st. For transfer students, it is June 1st. The statement of legal residence for first-year students and for transfer students is June 5th. Financial aid and scholarship priority deadline to complete the FAFSA and CADA each year. So not only did you have to do it this year, but you'll have to complete your financial aid application every year that you're in school. That is always going to be March 2nd. And then the deadline to complete all portal checklist items is June 1st. The housing application for first-year students, that window of time is between March 15th and May 4th. And then for transfer students, it's March 15th through June 6th. Our Bobcat Day event will be April 22nd. Hopefully you'll all come out to the campus to view our beautiful campus and get tours and see the dorms and meet with financial aid folks and have lots of important and interesting tours of the campus, get to meet some of the faculty. And so that's a great day. So be sure to come to that. And then new student orientations. For our new students, there are several dates that you can sign up for one of those dates for orientation registration. And then the health insurance waiver application for waiver opens May 1st and closes August 1st. And then the fee payment deadline for tuition and housing to be paid or DPP approved would be August 17th. Okay, finally, if you have any additional questions, please feel free to contact our Students First Center. They are a one-stop center ready to assist you with any questions you have about financial aid, admissions, the registrar's office, housing. I've included their phone number and their contact link, as well as a QR code for any questions that you may have. It may take a couple of days to get back to you, but hopefully you can get your questions in and we'll get those answered for you. Next slide. Okay, so back to you, Ricky, for some final information about our upcoming regional receptions and Bobcat Day.
Yes, thank you so much, Ron. Once again, a fantastic presentation. So much information being sent out to our audience tonight. And as Ron mentioned, I do have a couple of updates or announcements I'd like to share with you. We do have several more events coming up. And while I'm talking, because we are at the end of our show here, I want to go ahead and drop some information to you over in the chat box. So you can take a quick second, grab your smartphone, copy that information, take a quick picture, because you do not want to miss out on any of these upcoming events. A couple of them do include the admissions receptions. So we take our show on the road. It is a road show, everyone. We are coming to a city near you. And the first couple are going to be this upcoming weekend. So April the 1st, we will be heading over to the Bay Area and stopping in Santa Clara. On Sunday, the 2nd of April, we will be headed up to Sacramento, and yours truly, I will be there to welcome all of you as well. So I hope to see many of you there and meet you in person. On the 15th of April, we will also be down in Southern California in Anaheim. And the next day on the 16th, we will be in Los Angeles. Now, you might be wondering, what does that mean that we're going on the road to come to a city near you? Well, we are very proud to be able to welcome all of our admitted students and their families to these wonderful events and to our campus, hopefully in the fall of 2023. So when you do come to one of these receptions, You will be able to hear about our academic programs and all of the hands-on learning opportunities from our outstanding faculty members, and also get all of the answers to all of your questions. So you will get to hear more about our campus experience from our student services and everything from housing to financial aid and everything in between. Another great event that Ron also mentioned is Bobcat Day. You do not want to miss Bobcat Day. Of all of our events, I think we all agree this is one of our favorites. It's pretty much like having Disneyland on our campus. There's so much happening. We expect to have many of you there, and the Bobcat Day website is also in the chat box, so you can go ahead and click on that, bookmark that page, take a look at everything we have to offer, and get yourself registered. You will see a little explanation there that does let you know Bobcat Day is our biggest event of the spring term. We would love for you to come out and visit our beautiful campus. As it says there on the site, it is the liveliest day, and you get to take a campus tour, meet with all of our staff. Many of us will be there, if not all of us will be there. It is such a fun day, and there are so many smiling faces on our campus. It's just a wonderful experience to come see everything in person. You can submit your intent to register that day, which is fantastic. We'd love to celebrate with you in person for that. And as I said, you'll just be able to ask any question that you need, get to see every inch of our campus, including housing tours and just general campus tours. We also have many different performing events that day with different clubs and organizations. So you'll get to meet some of our active students on campus, everything from martial arts to cheer teams to dance teams to our band. And then you also will have a great opportunity to meet close to 200 of our tabling events with other clubs and organizations that are mostly student run. So as I said, if you haven't gotten the hint yet, take a look at that website. It is a wonderful event. So please head on over there in just a second and get yourself registered. So Bobcat Day is coming up. The 4 receptions we have when we take our show on the road, again, April 1st and 2nd, will be in the Bay Area and Sacramento, and the 15th and 16th, we will be in Anaheim and Los Angeles. One last event I would like to mention to you is called Experience UC Merced. That is also over on the website that I dropped into the chat box, which is admitted.ucmerced.edu/events. So make sure you take a look there. All of these events are here for you to learn more about our campus. With Experience UC Merced, you'll actually get to enjoy the classroom experience by sitting in one of our lectures. You also will have a great opportunity to dine in the Pavilion Dining Center for lunch, get a campus tour, and also just explore everything on your own at your leisure. Once again, a huge thank you to Ron tonight, to everyone who has joined us. We certainly hope that you've had as much fun as we have getting to meet you here virtually, and we definitely hope to see you again very soon. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.